Let me ask you about this, the whole situation with housing, jobs, the markets, all of them slumping. And this interesting fact pointed out by the New York Times that no American president since FDR has won a second term in office when the unemployment rate on election day topped 7.2%. Last week, it was as if the president could slide in office. Yeah, do no wrong because of the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound, and now these numbers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where some of us were a little bit skeptical during that bump, knowing that at some point, probably Americans are celebrating with good reason that Osama bin Laden is dead, but at the end of the day, they still need jobs. Another kind of interesting way of putting it is that, my understanding is that barring some dramatic change in the unemployment rate between now and Election Day 2012, the unemployment rate for every month of the Obama administration will be higher than it has been for every month of the two terms of George W. Bush. And there are plenty of quotes from, Democrats talking about them being...
Jim,
yes?
With all due respect, that's just a silly thing to say. The unemployment rate under Obama has been higher for all but of George W. Bush. We didn't have the Great Recession under George W. Bush. That kind of talking point doesn't make sense, Jim.
Well, I'm going to strongly disagree with that because it's one of those things where there are many quotes from Democrats talking about the Bush years as the bad old days. That was what we needed to fix. That would need to get better.
If that talking point comes up, it's going to be very easy for Democrats to refute that one.
They're going to argue, the Republican case will argue, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
They better come up with a more sophisticated argument than that, or they're not going to get voters. That's a very, very easy to refute weak argument.
I disagree.
All right.
Sorry, Al. I mean, it's one of those things where the argument will be, are you better off?
Got to come better armed than that if the Republicans are going to use that.
The question is, Republicans and Democrats, a lot of the people who don't have a job feel like both parties have left them behind right now. They're on the campaign trail, if the Republicans are going to say, we want to cut your taxes and we want to cut services, we want to cut budgets, is that really going to create jobs? Can they prove it creates jobs? On the other hand, can the Democrats prove that they do have the elixir for creating jobs? I mean, is jobs going to be a big focus, Jim, or are they both going to try to ignore it because neither of them can fix it?
Oh, I think they have to. I think whoever ends up spending more time talking about jobs in 2012 will end up winning. I think one of the arguments that you'll also see, and perhaps Ali will like this one better, comes from Daniel Henninger of the Wall Street Journal, who observes that Barack Obama, right out of the gate, got the stimulus and he got health care passed. Two very major, economic reforms that he argued were going to make Americans' daily lives better. Right. Well, he's got them. I think a lot of Americans aren't feeling particularly better, and you hear talk about a double-dip recession. I think to a lot of Americans out there, not just the unemployed, but the folks who are underemployed, the folks who are working part-time and can't find full-time work. For these folks, you're wondering, wait, double-dip recession, when was the good times? When was the lump in the middle there? So I think for a lot of Americans, this feels like year 3 of a recession. Perhaps you're right, by 2012, it'll feel like year 4. And at that point, the option will be, look, we've tried that approach. We haven't liked the results we're getting. Whatever the alternative option is, let's give it a shot, because how much worse can it be?
Yeah, perhaps if that's going to make you feel better. That may have a little more legs to it, Jim. Thank you.